I'm Oral Hershiser, and I am on the Blue Review. Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Review.
All right, we got a Bendy on a Tuesday morning. Welcome to the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcas Grant. That is Greg Bergman. Greg, I guess 161-1. That's not a bad record, right?
Not a bad record. It's going to happen every once in a while. Just a little bit disappointing. I thought 162 was really, really, truly in play.
It was really there for us. It was right there. The Dodgers lose on Monday night, 4-2, the final score against the Cleveland Guardians. But that was not the big story of the game. We will get to kind of what the big part of the game was. And even in a loss, there were things that were encouraging. So we'll talk about that and plenty more. But first, I want to let you know, as always, the Blue Review is powered by LAX. We're taking off. Learn more about all the incredible changes happening now at LAX by going to lawa.org/ESPN. So, story of the night last night, Greg, Roki Sasaki. We all were worried. We all were concerned. We were all breathlessly waiting to see what Roki had to offer. And in the end, I thought it was pretty encouraging.
I thought it was very encouraging. Now, he's still wild. He's still throwing. He's all over the place. He cannot figure out that fastball. There was one that he threw, and it looked like a Wild Thing in Major League. It went way over to the side. It's like, whoa, where are you going with that one, buddy? So it was really just the fastball. The splitter was hitting pretty well. I was really actually impressed with the cutter. That was one of his better pitches last night. But overall, let's see what did you choose? You and Jeff had a back and forth that I actually didn't get into a part of, but Marcas Grant on our group text message. I'm calling it 3.1 innings pitched. Yeah, close. He got through four. Four runs. Wrong. 1 run. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. 3 hits. I don't have it in front of me.
He gave up 4 hits. So close.
4 hits. Okay, you're right there. 3 walks. He only had 2 walks, so a little bit better there. And 2 Ks. I think he had 4 or 5 Ks.
So yeah.
4 Ks. So hey, you weren't far off, but you were. I understood where you were going with it because I felt the same way. But it's a much, much better. I feel so much better about Roki Sasaki after last night.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because you could see his confidence growing as the game went along. I think everybody in the ballpark, at least everybody wearing Dodger blue in the ballpark, was sort of anxious about what was going to happen because of the spring, because he was struggling so much with his command. I think that last start against the Angels got everybody worried, and I think that included Roki Sasaki, and you could see it kind of early. I mean, I think with Steven Kwan, the first hitter, he fell behind. I think he was behind 3-1 to Kwan to start the game, but battled back, got the out. In fact, went through a clean first inning, or maybe he gave up a single to Ramirez in the first. But whatever, he got through the first inning without any major problems, and you could just kind of see it building. And yeah, he gave up the run, but you could just see as he was going along, he was getting more confident. He was, still sort of battling command a little bit, but he was getting outs, and it was nothing like any of the disasters we saw in the spring. And I think that was kind of the biggest thing, to just watch him build. And you mentioned that third pitch, getting that cutter in there and seeing it land for strikes. I mean, he had a couple of just really wicked ones. I mean, he struck out Jose Ramirez at one point, which to me was just eye-opening. So I'm really pleased. Again, 4 innings was more than I anticipated he'd get through. I thought when I put that thing in the line in the text chat, you were like, "That's terrible." And in my head, I was like, I mean, I guess it is, but I was also being optimistic. That was my optimistic.
that was your optimistic.
Optimistic prediction for Roki 3 1/3 and 3 runs or whatever it was I said.
Yeah, it was 4. It was 4. But either way, I honestly, this really just, to me, it shows that watching what guys do in spring training it proves it again that it does not necessarily translate into the regular season, and that Roki was really working on some pitches. Now, there still are some things that he still continues to need to work. He talked about it afterwards and said that he was nervous going into the game. So that's not a good thing. I understand that he's pitched in massive World Series games and, big games against Philadelphia where he has to get the guys out and close games out. But what he did yesterday shows that, okay, he can get in when the moment is bright, he will come and he will actually step up, but he still has to figure out that fastball. I'm going to keep going back to it because he has to be able to land that fastball for strikes to keep all the other pitches off balance. We've talked about it 100 times. If he can get that pitch to land for a strike, they won't lay off the splitter. The splitter will be the out pitch that it always is. There's certain things about it that he has to be able to land that fastball. And if he does not, this being only 1 run could very easily turn into 6 walks and 4 runs.
Yeah, and I think that was the thing. That, because he was able to get it over enough, that made the other pitchers a little bit more effective. That he was able to kind of get.
Right.
I don't know how many swings and misses he got last night, but
where's Jeff on that one?
Yeah, Jeff Spiegel, where are you now? But there was an element of, okay, the Guardians were going up there, and they were definitely trying to be aggressive, I think, at points. So again, he was able to kind of get enough pitches over into the zone that it was an issue that you had to just at least attack a little bit. And so that is step one. I think it's interesting that he said he was nervous, because I think that shows that he understood what the spring was for him. And he understands what the expectations, or at least the hopes for him, are on this ball club. And, look, I don't think anybody wants to go to Oklahoma City. I'm sure he doesn't want. He would rather be in Los Angeles all year long than going to OKC and having to work on some things there. So I just think I think yesterday versus October yesterday was a chance for him to just think about things, right? He's had all spring to think about kind of what has gone wrong. October was like, hey man, you just got to take the ball and pitch. And I think he was sort of just able to, for lack of a better term, go dumb in October and just let his natural ability take over. But I think February, March, it's been Roki Sasaki overthinking things a little bit. Yeah. And I think that's what the nerves were about last night for him.
No, 100%. It was, you throw your fastball, throw your splitter, and that's it. Don't think about anything else. And now he's adding in these other pitches. By the way, I looked it up. It's 22.1% whiff rate, swing and miss percentage. So, okay. Yeah, so not bad, including 3 of 4 swings in his debut, often using his splitter to generate whiffs, which is what we've talked about many times. But yeah, so the good for Roki. Good. I'm much happier with what Roki did last night. I was worried that we were going to walk in here today and be like, okay, we got to figure out what to do with this guy. Is he going to be going down to OKC, or is he going to be up here? And he's proving that he's going to be here. I think the other thing that we can move on to is that this offense is not great to start the season.
No, it's not.
Not really clicking, is it?
No, I've heard. I think Anthony Witrado's mentioned this in our chat. I think I heard Oral Hershiser mentioning it on the broadcast last night. It feels like the World Series offense again, and it's easy to forget because they won and how they won the World Series, that they didn't hit. They just did not hit in that series. They hit enough. They hit in the right spots. But really, since opening day, they scored those 8 runs on opening day, and there hasn't been much offense since then. I don't think anybody's worried. You see the lineup and the bats up and down that lineup, and at some point these guys are going to break out, right? Like Shohei is going to do a Shohei thing at some point. Freddie Freeman's going to figure it out. But so far, Greg, the offense has just not been there for this team.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty worried. I think Shohei's never going to hit a home run
ever again.
It's just as likely as the Dodgers will go 161-1 that Shohei will hit 0 home runs. We can feel pretty good that they'll go. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something going on. And even though the offense isn't clicking and they're not getting timely hits, When it got to the ninth inning, I was like, well, it's only 4 runs. It's not out of the
doable.
realm of
It's
possibility.
doable.
Like even the broadcast, they were going in the ninth inning. It was like, well, if Freddie gets on here, then it's going to be really interesting. Like because they still put up 2 runs, so they had a chance to get back, but it just didn't happen. It's fine. But yeah, there's something going on with this offense right now that it's just another thing. We talked about it, I think, yesterday. But if Roki Sasaki in spring is not Roki Sasaki in the regular season, guys like Teoscar Hernandez are not Teoscar Hernandez in spring training. He was destroying balls in spring training, and he's doing nothing so far now. Andy Pajas is that's a good one, Carlo. Well, very well done. I think Andy Paz has been really one of the fewer bright spots, but it's Kyle Tucker really hasn't shown much. He's gotten a couple big hits that scored some runs, but really hasn't done much. Shohei's done nothing. Mookie had the 1 home run. I feel good about Freddie. He just has lost a teeny tiny bit of power, it feels like, or the balls are just not flying for him because it is just dying whenever he hits a ball.
Just dying on the warning track. Yeah, I'm looking right now. I mean, Will Smith hitting 250, Mookie at 200. Again,
good.
Granted, these are really small sample sizes, but Shohei 167, Teo 143. Miguel Rojas hitting 444 though.
And he got robbed too. He got robbed at third base. That was by Jose Ramirez, very good, obviously defensive third baseman. But yeah, that could have been a double down the line that would have scored a run, and it would have changed everything. He also got himself doubled off.
Yeah, he got picked off at second. That wasn't great. I do think one of the things last night, I think there was a little bit of bad luck because it felt like they hit a few hard hit balls that were just right at people or guys made really good plays on. The Ramirez play was one. I think it was Muncy lined into a double play. Tucker hit a hard line drive that got caught by the second baseman instead of maybe hitting the gap. So they're not getting a ton of hits, but also last night was just some bad luck in a lot of ways because if a couple of those balls get through, it's a different game. It's probably 1-1. Maybe the Dodgers take the lead. Maybe it's a different game a little bit last night. But, those things sort of even out over the course of a long season. So I'm not super, super concerned. Any concern about Justin Robleski last night? It was kind of a rocky outing for him.
Exactly where I was going to go. So Robleski, he was having some issues at the plate too. And he loaded the bases, nobody out. And you're thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen here? And then he got 2 quick outs.
Yeah.
He was 0-2 on, I forget who it was. It might've been Ramirez or it might've been Quan. I forget who it was that he was 0-2 on with 2 outs. But either way, you thought, okay, this guy's going to get out of it. He's showing what he can do. And then walking a run and then a double, and it just kind of fell apart from there. But he did come back and he finished things out. And I feel good about Justin Robleski. He got himself into trouble, but really should have gotten himself out of it. So I think that's going to be something that's he's going to build upon instead of it kind of bringing him down a little bit. Did you see anything different out of Robleski? Are you nervous?
Not really. I mean, I think he's going to be fine long term. Last night wasn't great, obviously, but so if we're talking about things that were unlikely to happen for the entire year, it was very unlikely that the bullpen was going to go all year without giving up a run. Right. So just chalk that up. There were a lot of things. There were a lot of things that happened last night that were sort of inevitabilities. The Dodgers were eventually going to lose a game. At some point, Shohei's going to hit a home run. At some point, the bullpen was going to give up some runs. So I think yesterday you just sort of kind of shake a lot of things off. But I think in the long term, Robleski's going to be fine. I'm curious what his role ends up being long term. If he's sort of the long man out of the bullpen, if he eventually transitions into a rotation spot at some point during the season. But I think that's kind of the question that's up in the air is what is it that Dave Roberts and the ball club see for Robleski in 2026?
So my guess would be, it would be that he's going to be the long reliever. And then if somebody falters, whether that's Sheehan, whether that's Sasaki, that he is going to be the first up to take a starting spot. I mean, you saw it last night that he went 4 innings. Besides what he did give up, he still looked pretty decent otherwise. And when he kind of figured himself out. So I think that's what it's going to be. And he's going to be ready to be a starter whenever that happens. And the other one that I was impressed by, Tanner Scott.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we start giving Tanner Scott a little bit of love? I mean, he came in, Roki gave up a hit. He came in, he gave up a double, but then it was first and third, and he just went bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it.
Yeah, no, he looked great last night. And so far this season, he's been fantastic. And so the Tanner Scott redemption narrative is well on its way. That train has left the station and is speeding down the tracks because what is it, three outings, I think, so far this year for Tanner Scott. And
he's at a 0. He has not given up.
He's not given up a run. So he pitched this one scoreless inning last night, had 1/3 of a scoreless inning against Arizona, pitched a scoreless inning also against the Diamondbacks. So no, he has been great, and it has looked a far cry from the Tanner Scott that we saw last year. I was a little surprised to see him in, what was it, the fourth inning, fifth inning, whenever it was he came in. But you know, I do think they're still sort of sorting out some of the bullpen roles right now. We know Edwin Diaz has the ninth inning on lock, but it's everything before that I think is sort of mix and match. I was surprised to see Scott in the fifth inning, but you know, maybe he's working his way back up to toward the top of the trust tree again.
Yeah, so I mean, I get because of what inning it was, it seemed interesting, but at the same time, that was a very important spot. So you knew that you were going to go to Justin Robleski off of Sasaki, and they were basically like letting Sasaki go out there and be like, "Can you get through one more inning? Can you get through a five innings with only one run?" Because they knew they had Robleski ready to go as soon as they took him out, and he gave up the hit, so that at that point it was almost like, let's give Robleski a clean inning. At that point, bring in one of your better relievers, get through it, keep it at one run, and then see what Robleski does. And that's exactly how it happened. He did his job to the fullest. This team loves the fireman role, and that seemed like a moment for Tanner Scott to be in the fireman role.
Yeah, I do know. Last night they were talking on the broadcast that when Roki came out to start the fifth inning, they suspected at that point that he was only going to get one hitter. It was Angel Martinez in the number 9 spot. Then you're going to go back to the top of the lineup, and you had some lefties with Kwan and DeLauder, and then Ramirez being a switch hitter. So I think the plan was for him to just get Martinez. Then I think you're right. If he had gotten Martinez, they go to Robleski and let him come in with the bases empty and finish out the inning and go however long they go. When Martinez, I think, walked, or no, he got a hit. Right, he got a hit. Then it was like, okay, well, let's go to Scott. Let's let him see if he can close things out, which he did well. And then you had Robleski start the next inning. So,
So I need to be completely transparent. I was at the Laker game last night watching the game on my phone, so I could not have the volume up. So for the first, I think I left. So it was the sixth inning. I probably left about. So I didn't get to actually hear the broadcast till late in the game.
Oh, good. All good. You saw.
Transparent. But I was watching every pitch. I probably should not have been watching every pitch while I'm sitting in a Lakers suite. But, this is my job. It's what I have to do.
But also, it was Lakers Wizards. It was the Wizards, man.
They won by like 60.
It was the Wizards. Like, I don't think you were gonna miss anything. If the Lakers had lost, it would have been an absolute travesty. But nothing to worry about. I'm looking in the chat, guys. This is a live show. I'm assuming you guys are joking, right? Left on Base too often saying I think this was pre-recorded at 5:30 a.m.
No, this is live.
No, we're actually here right now. Like it is 6:48 a.m. According to Microsoft Windows on my computer. Like we're actually here. I love you guys. I'm not getting up at 5:30 in the morning to
no, 5:30 in the morning, way too early.
I'm not doing this, y'all.
So we understand this because I want to be as interactive with the chat as possible. But because we're watching on our computers, I'm looking at Marcas live on a separate screen, and I have to switch back and forth to the YouTube chat to be able to see it. So when we're in the middle of deep conversation, it's hard to go back to the chat. But please throw more stuff into the chat.
Ruben Flores is asking if you're Ruben Flores is asking if you're in the principal's office right now.
I'm in my office, which
yes, Bill O'Reilly. We will do it live.
We'll do it live.
So, just so in case you guys were curious, yes, this is actually a live show. We get up in the morning and we do this for real, and
So another thing that I want to talk, we'll get back more into the game. I want to talk about
Yes.
Shohei too, but I'm
Yeah.
also trying to do some things to help promote the Blue Review. So on TikTok every night after every single game, I've done it every game so far or every day. Just do a quick little video, pop it up on TikTok, and try and get people new audiences to come and see us. So if you are interested in joining my little stuff on TikTok, it's just Greg Bergman. I don't know what else to put it, but come hang out on TikTok and teach me how to use TikTok because I don't know how to.
Come on,
very elementary.
You got the kids in the back. You got the social team back there.
Yeah.
They should be able to teach you how to use TikTok.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
The clock app.
But let's talk about Shohei real fast because
Yes.
Shohei's on the mound tonight, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. Shohei, how he looked in spring training is I'm going to be we talk about how spring training is not the regular season, but Shohei looked fantastic in spring.
Yes.
Like nothing has changed. Like this dude could, if he wanted to, and it seems like he kind of wants to, could be a Cy Young candidate. And I don't know, we can get into another day whether that can affect his batting or not, but I think just on the mound, he has looked great and throwing like 6 or 7 different pitches, and it's keeping guys off balance, and the curveball has looked great the whole way through.
No, he's been absolutely on point. I mean, the couple of starts we saw from him in the spring were absolutely fantastic. I do think I know he didn't pitch in the World Baseball Classic, but he was sort of working on the side while he was with Team Japan, so I was kind of keeping him sharp a little bit. So I am really optimistic about this because based on what we saw in the spring, again, yes, for the millionth time, spring training is not necessarily the real thing, but I think it just sort of showed that he is ready to go, that he looks sharp. We know that Shohei is a madman when it comes to preparation and that sort of thing. So that's going to help. I think what also helps is it's a Guardians lineup that, they scored 4 runs last night, but this was not a big offense last year. In fact, I think I read when I woke up this morning that the Guardians are currently in first place with a negative run differential. I mean, this is not, they're not exactly knocking down the fences with this offense. Yes, the Lauders had a great start to the season. Yes, Jose Ramirez is a great player. But the rest of that lineup doesn't have a lot of punch. So this feels like a really good opportunity for Shohei to go out, maybe stretch out a little bit through 5 innings. Maybe they get him into the 6th. And put up some zeros. And so hopefully the offense shows up tonight against Tanner Bybee. But I feel really good about Shohei putting up a really good number on the mound.
Yeah. What do you think he's going to go? Do you think they're going to, because they do still have him on kind of, that pitch innings limit. So do you think they'll let him go past 5 innings? I think they let him go into the 6th.
They let him go to the 6th against the Angels. Yeah. I mean, it really is just about efficiency. If they're keeping him around 85 pitches and if he can get through 5 in, say, 75 pitches or so, I think he comes back to try a 6th. If he's at 82, 83 pitches and it gets him through 4 2/3, 5 innings, then I think that's sort of where they cap it. But if he can really be efficient and effective, I think they let him go as long as that 85 pitch number holds. So.
Yeah, I think it seems like they're gonna give a 90 pitch limit to all of their starters just in general. I think Roki was around 80 because he went out with 78. Mm-hmm. But I think Yamamoto went to right around 90, and I think Glasnow was around that spot too. So I think they want, especially early on in the season, which is smart, obviously, just keep them all down around 90 pitches. I think it's going to be the same with Shohei. I don't think it's like a hard set rule that they wrote down and said, no, you can't go past that. Right. They generally want to keep guys as healthy as possible early on, and especially that man right there at the bottom of the screen, Shohei Ohtani, because how important he is. I just want to see him look like he has, and also just break out a little, because what do you call him, a Costco hitter? I'd love to see, once he gets 1 home run, that he's off to the races.
Yeah, when he gets 1, then the avalanche is sort of coming, and that's that's the thing to kind of keep an eye on. And teams have pitched him, no surprise, pitched him very, very carefully so far this season. So while he's not getting hits, he's getting on base. I mean, he is walking a lot because teams are just being really, really careful with him. So now that puts a lot of onus on Kyle Tucker to really start getting going himself. I mean, I think he's put the ball in play and he's hit it hard a few times with not a lot to show for it. But I think once Shohei starts hitting, and it just sort of rolls downhill at that point. So we'll see. We'll see. So
we'll see. And at some point, this offense will explode, and they're going to go on a crazy run. It might not be at the beginning of the season, but they always do.
They always do. They always do. The good news is that everybody else in the NL West is pretty much vomiting on their shoes. So, so there's no immediate worries. Considering
run away and hide. Always just want them to run away and hide.
Yeah, I mean, right now you got the Giants and the Padres in a pillow fight for the next few games. And the Diamond.
No, I want
right. That's just what it is. So we'll see. Anyway, they have a 2-game lead, 4 games into the season. Anyway, 7-10 tonight. First pitch out at Dodger Stadium between the Dodgers and the Guardians. We'll be back with you tomorrow to talk about that as well. Stick around for the Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming up. Thanks, everybody in the chat, for showing up, and thanks for realizing that it's live. Question mark?
We are live.
We are live. Thank you to Carlo for production assistance on this one as well. That'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. For Greg, I'm Marcus. See you tomorrow, 6:30 to 6:55 here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. See you.
Yeah.